this is a very short thing. I just did it like 15 minutes ago because I was super busy with boot camp. It's winding down, a lot of things to do. So might as well, why not share a very small thing? So like, what have I learned? Like, these are like soft skills that would be essential for software developers. So I would go ahead with the title. Please ask questions early and often if you don't know something, because my mentor told me that many times. Okay, so really need it. So if you must be truly desperate to come to me for help, yes, I am always desperate, and people should always be desperate to get some help, right? And again, someone that is experienced should be really good to help you out. Like, I know I can help you out, but you should still look for a more experienced person who's already doing like developing apps or doing data science apps. Those persons would really help you out. So can tell them, Mr. Miyagi me, please, right? So on to the pro tips. So again, that one is a recurring tip for me because before I was working on a problem, been stuck for more than an hour, forgetting to ask something when it's ambiguous. I just tried to attack right away and did not plan ahead because I was always thinking that I'm an attack first person, I'm a visual person. I can't understand when I read something. I want to see it first. Turns out most of the time it will get back to you. It's very wrong. So, but a couple of reminders when you ask questions though. Again, try to fix your problems yourself. If you've been at it for 1 hour, let's say max of 2 hours, try to stop at it. But again, before you ask, Google first, okay? And read the official documentation first before doing Stack Overflow right away. So if you're doing Python, go to a Python documentation, look for the API, how does it work? Don't go straight away to Stack Overflow because it might give you a working code, but in the long run, it's like, how do you use this? It's so complicated. We don't know. So I need to go back to Google before you ask because this is one of the skills that we need to learn right now across any fields. Like, you need to know the right keywords to search to even know what you're looking for, right? So let's say, oh, I have a simple web application and I want this, what's this code? Oh, sidebar. Oh, what's this? Let's say number of notifications. There's a circular thing. There's a number. What's this? How do I search? And then now eventually you learn that, oh, it's called a badge. So you have to learn these terms to help you on your own problems. So level up, asking the right questions, and Googling for information and answers. Easy. Read instructions 2 times or more. Read, understand. So I realized that when I was working on a hard problem, sometimes I try to read it, right? And then, I don't get it. Read it again, iterate, read it again. And then when I start, I kind of somehow miss the first 2 lines. I think that usually happens. And frankly, this is a very embarrassing part on my case because I've been reading so hard, and there are 3 challenges in that one problem. But the very first problem just said, copy, paste the code. And I did my own code. So it's very embarrassing, right? So read the instructions correctly. Only push working code. So when you're collaborating with teams and open source projects or in your software development teams, always write your test first. It doesn't make sense to just push code. They would just say, does this even work? And where's your proof? Now you need to make tests. If your test pass, then they'll review it. And if it's okay, then they'll merge it. So again, don't submit a broken code, and always try to connect your pull request to an issue so that right now GitHub has the functionality to automatically resolve the issue when the pull request is accepted and merged. And always be detailed and clear in your comments. Don't just say, okay, done. No, tell us what you did. What functionality did you implement? Like, give me some screenshot if it's UI based, right? So pull requests. So let's say we're collaborating on one repository and I'm working on code, right? And I'm gonna push it to GitHub and I need to make a pull request. So here are some more general things that you can look it over. So on code management, make it work first and try to see how it looks. Um, that goes along with never submit a broken code, right? So make sure it works first and then refactor your code, especially if you're on a time crunch. Make the functionality work in whatever means you can if you're lacking time, and then refactor. And then focus on small functions. And they're saying that it's better to have a function with just 5 lines of code instead of like a function with 15 lines of code. So the coupling really helps you remove some dependencies and save you the trouble from having very hard time refactoring your code. So smaller commits. So what I learned before in GitHub is I create a lot of file, I modify a lot of code. Git add dot means git add all. So it's kind of wrong actually. So you might need to do this the other way around. So git add the file that you made. Let's say I fixed the view button, the view page. Git add view page, then git commit that view page only. Then create a comment for that. So when you try to reverse a wrong commit, it's easier to see that, okay, I didn't like this. This was wrong. Instead of like a bunch of big files that you just committed in stage. Okay. Commit and push early and often. And quality trumps speed. I know sometimes we're on the time crunch, but if you're showing a prototype, it's better to show things that are working than saying, oh, I have this button, but it's not working right now. So that's not good. On working with teams, bad team is working with, it's people working in silos, not listening. Have at least one person to code review your stuff before it gets merged to the code base. And when you're doing pair programming, person A's work, not work on person's A's work. Meaning, let's say Kevin B, I'll say, okay, do this, do that. But I'm not the one who's gonna code it. You're the one who's gonna code it. So that's a more effective pair program. I can't be just like, hey, you should be doing this, and I type on your keyboard. That's totally wrong. Okay, and then, so also in this, we have to keep in mind that one of the good traits to you getting hired is you being coachable. So whatever experience you may be, like intermediate, beginner, expert, if you're not coachable, then what's the point of the employer getting? Because like, you don't want to learn new things. You want to do it in your own way. But no, you have to work with teams, right? Working with feature branch, always have the latest code derived from the master branch. Add commit before going to a different branch to avoid yourself from merge conflicts. Don't worry about other branches' functionalities. Focus on your branch that you're working on. If you messed up your local branch, they say when you're working on a dev team, raise your hand right away and grab someone who can help you fix that branch. Because you might have messed up your code so much and then you push commit, and if it got merged, goodbye. Goodbye job position, I guess. So working with user stories, I also got a hard time with this because I'm not used to it. So it's basically just a high-level user story. Detailed implementations is bad for user stories. It should be generic and easy, like create this action. A user can view this. A user can add this. That simple. And then add those task lists below. And if, let's say you're working on a small team and I'm doing user stories, it's preferred to, let's say, have a maximum of 3 user stories so it can be manageable. Because if you like put like 5 or 6 in progress in your name, it's like how can you push quality code with that? Okay, so multiple pull requests outstandings is also not good. Like again, it goes with because you have a lot of in progress. On tests, also always write isolated tests on the functionality that you try to work, and also basically run your integration tests and unit tests and whatever. Stay away from using global variables in both tests and implementation code, because you might use that same variable in the other test and it mess up your test. Putting test logic in configuration file is bad. And that's it. Keep it sweet and short. And thank you. And Sam, you want to discuss something?
I do have a question.
Okay, questions?
Yeah. Most of people is really good. So one thing
Mhm.
you have to do the git commit and push very often. I understand you have to do the commit very often, but what is the reason I have to push very often?
For the push, not so much, but I just was told by my mentor. I have yet to find out the perfect reason for that because I also asked that. I think he said it's fine to push it later in the one whole batch.
You know why?